What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the absolute best show in all of pro wrestling and sports entertainment. It is Tuesday. We are back. We have bills to pay, people. Okay, we got shit to do. I'm sorry. We want to be here each and every week. We're gonna do this as often as possible for y'all. Okay. Don't you forget, but you are watching us live, the Royal Rundown, best show in all pro wrestling and sports entertainment. I am one half of your host and duo, Serg Vicente. Joining me as always is my sister from another mister, Ms. Drede. Ms. Drede, how you living?
What's going on? Wow, June has been Juning, hasn't it?
June has been Juning, yes.
Okay, absolutely. Well, we are here. We are back. We've missed you. We've missed y'all. We've
missed y'all. Please make sure thank you so much for tuning in live each and every time we do this right here on the absolute fastest growing YouTube page in all of combat sports. We are talking none other than the Scrap News. Thank you, the Scrap News, for holding it down for us and giving us this platform. Also, do yourselves a favor, check out the Fight Podcast. Yes, this is a Fight Podcast show, Fight Podcast produced show by your boy. Check out everything else. We have great interviews, great content. See the interviews that we actually just had with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence on their live tour. We were there in the building, so check that out today. All right. Dre.
Sir.
First, even before I get to pro wrestling, because we have had a lot of pro wrestling, not only that we have to recap, we have stuff that we have to discuss. There's so much going on. But before any of that, yo, Dre, can you breathe? Y'all doing all right over there? Like, y'all motherfuckers be talking shit about Chicago or about LA. You already know, like it's all the fires. Man, you guys weren't even near the fires and you can't breathe over there. How you doing?
Son, I drove into the city for work today and I was like, it's mad overcast. And then I looked again and I was like, those are not clouds. That is air. I just be asking the Lord if the rapture is here, if he could just say that. Like if we're supposed to be, if he coming back, come on back now, because all of the foolery and the fake outs is killing me. But no, the air quality is terrible outside. I mean, it looks genuinely looks like
not just genuinely the world.
Looks and smells and feels like you know, like when you blow out a candle, that like times a gazillion. Yeah, it's kind of scary actually when you look at it.
Look, you were in LA when those fires happened in 2018, was it?
I think it was like the end of 17, early 18, and yes, sure, something like that. 17, 18, something like that. But I was down there and it looks like that, but I would say, because I don't know if it's just because like the lack of the moisture in the air. I don't know. I'm not a scientist or anything like that, but it feels like it's harsher on our eyes. It's harsher on the lungs. Like it's all bad. It's all bad outside.
I had to call up my parents and tell them straight up. I'm like, yo, because they also have my dog. So I was like, I need y'all to not only stay in the house for you, I need you to stay in the house for Nico.
Right.
You protect Nico at all costs, okay? But no.
You was out here yelling at my parents too. They were just walking outside willy-nilly, no masks and all that.
Can't be out there like that.
No. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Everybody in my hometown, in the home state, and everybody who's been affected by the fires that happened in Canada, everybody who is in my home city, Chicago, take care. Be safe out there in these streets. Seriously. Yes, please be careful, man. Much love to y'all. All right. Damn this. Let's talk about what we're here to talk about. They'll be all right. All right. The lake's there. Wind blow that shit away. Windy City for a reason. 2 days. Shit's over. Okay. And next. So. AEW Forbidden Door.
AEW,
with
period.
New Japan Pro Wrestling.
All that.
AEW runs Chicago. And even before we get to Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
Let's recap.
Yes.
Dre.
What up?
You were in the building. You were at the first episode of AEW Collision.
Absolutely.
You were in the building.
There. Shout out to my sister Shantil.
CM Punk.
He was in there. Yes.
You seen FTR.
And did.
You seen all of them.
Bullet Club
But
Gold.
you seen Bullet Club Gold. You even seen like Sonata in them. Like, please.
I sure did.
Yeah, yes, you did. You understand. You know, the second coming of Yoki. All right, like he is that dude.
My man's outside. Okay.
Yo, my man's had the blue suit on.
He did.
The gold shades. The clean cut. My man looks like a movie star.
And does.
He is, and he performs like. Look, we're gonna get into arguably the match of the century. We're gonna get into that. Arguably the match of the century. Holy shit. But we have to talk about. I mean, yo, dude not only looks the part, he wrestles as good as anybody out there. Dude can cook.
Yeah.
That's what superstars. So please explain to
which dude are we talking about at this point? Because
all the Japanese dudes, they don't speak no
Yeah.
English, but they just ooze. They just drip charisma.
Yeah.
All of them, and they're fly. Why can't we they are theatrical? They're fly as shit. Love it. How was your experience at not only Collision but the other AEW event that you were at as well?
I'm gonna just call it the Chicago Loop. So AEW came here. I'm gonna call it like the lead up into Forbidden Door, right? So I believe it was Collision, the first episode of Collision, and then we had the Dynamite taping, or Dynamite, which is live, and then of course you do get the tapings of Rampage right after that, and then you also get Ring of Honor matches too, which is very, very dope. And that was all leading up into them going to Toronto for Forbidden Door and everything that happened last week as well. So being in the building was absolutely amazing, like for the first Collision, and for all of everything that was going on leading up into Forbidden Door. This was my first experience actually seeing some of those big New Japan stars in real life, and let me tell you,
so amazing.
I am officially a Sonata fan. I did not know anything about that man until a week ago, and the blue suit and the vibes sold me. Okay, obviously Okada is a legend, and just the ramp up of people hoping and thinking that they were going to get even just a little bit of him, amazing. So like it was really, really dope. And then obviously, aside from all of the amazing New Japan Pro Wrestling stuff and all of the Forbidden Door stuff, I mean, the debut of Collision was all about
Dre, what happened? No live, like Brock, no lives, streaming while you was there.
Do y'all want me to be able to still be allowed in the building for these shows or not? Like, what are we talking about?
That part.
I'm trying to get a press pass next time, speaking that into existence. But I have to, we have to touch on it, and we'll make it very brief. The return of CM Punk in Chicago at the United Center for the very first Collision. Obviously, he got a hero's welcome, of course, because it's Chicago and it's Punk. But I have to tell you, right? I have to tell you that he looks good, he moves well, and the atmosphere, the star power type of atmosphere that brand brings to pro wrestling, it was needed, it was missed. It's gonna be fun. Like we're 2 Collisions in at this point. We're awesome. One pay-per-view in with him being back, and everything I think has been exactly what it needed to be, even with the mixed crowd responses from when he goes outside of Chicago. It's great. It's great.
And people were arguing this recently.
Of course they were, because it's wrestling.
But CM Punk is good for the business. And
period.
Period.
Complete sentence.
That's it. He's great for the business. He gives just a right amount of shoot drama that you want.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because he's just enough of an asshole that he knows how to, and not only that, just of a showman as well.
Yeah.
He's a showman, and he wants to. We're talking about a guy who like breathes this business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's one of those guys. Like, he still wants to damn near keep kayfabe type of guy.
Yeah,
so
and I
like he's playing it a little bit.
He's towing the line, I think, really, really great too.
I agree.
Like, he's all of them, right? At Tony, all of the creative going on around CM Punk and what's happening right now with him, I think is a perfect introduction or reintroduction into him. I love that he's not really saying that the reason he was gone for so long was because of the brawl out. It's because I was injured. Like, I love that. I love we know, but also that too, right? Like, that's really, in theory, right? That's really a big deal as well. And then, like, it all makes sense. So anything that he's saying is going to make sense. I love the teasing of eventually him and MJF, handling their business with the title. Love that. Love that he's surrounded by FTR so that you can still get he's never going to get, I won't say never, because he got super booed in Canada, because of course he did. He was in Kenny Omega country. That's what you're supposed to do. And I love that he knew not to, like, I think that we're so, again, WWE, I should say Vince WWE, trained that, I think we kind of expect to be told how we're supposed to feel, and the crowd is always ready to rebel against that. And so when we're watching something that isn't quite that, which is actually kind of leaning into what the audience is doing, but still very fluid, it's actually really fun to watch, especially as a fan. This is why we watch, right? We love, you and I specifically love shenanigans. This is all shenanigans. This is all popcorn and wine. Like, I can't wait to see what's going to happen next kind of stuff. And whether you love him or hate him, like you said, Serg, he's a showman.
He's good for business.
Yes.
He's good for business, because I'll be honest with you. Now, granted, leading up to Forbidden Door, AEW's been cooking. Yeah. And they do this from time. Usually they'll just drop a good show on you, but they kind of gave us a 2-week build, which I appreciate. And
Forbidden Door is hard to build because you don't have everybody there. Most of them are in Japan, so it's hard to build. And I mean, compared to the build, last year's build versus this year's build, it was great. Yeah,
but it's going to be a good event. So, but when you watch it, but they've been cooking. They really have been cooking recently, and all the shows were good. And speaking of cooking, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega,
and Kenneth.
Let's just start there.
Honey, baby child.
Dre.
Yes.
Is this the best? I'm not even going to say it's the best match of the year, because the only one that's close to it was the one that they had together in February.
It was Wrestle Kingdom.
It was Wrestle Kingdom. That was the other match that I was like, this is insane. Yeah. And where that match I felt like was, they did some of like the hockey fight thing from time to time, and it was like, this felt like a fight.
Yeah. It felt like
a fight.
It was settling something, and it ain't over yet.
Yeah. And they went at it, and man, Dave Meltzer must have had a field day with this one, because
just throwing stars at it.
Just throwing stars at it. It was so insane. The physicality of it, the story that was told. Yeah. I'll be honest with you, it is. And there's always some really great matches, from year to year. I go back and I think of like Gunther and Sheamus, right? You think of, it's just crazy good matches, right? But is this the best match in the last decade? And I know that's throwing a lot, but I'll say, okay, you know what? Let me bring it back. Is this the last match? I'll say at least for the last 2 years.
Listen, we have to keep in mind recency bias is there.
It's a real thing.
With all of that being said, though, it's in the conversation. It's definitely match of the year contender, and we got 6 more months to go, or 5 more months of stuff to do. But it's absolutely,
my man
is holding the crown right
Driver
now.
91. It is over. There is zero other match that is going to come close to that, because ain't nobody going to throw nobody on the top of their head like that. Other match this year.
It was one of those matches, like, genuinely, my sister and I were cringing and doing a lot of this.
I was so concerned. Concerned.
And just not sure how they kept taking it to a different gear. Like, they took it to a new gear and then they changed it to another one. My only beef with this match, and I don't even mind it as much as most people minded it. I don't even mind it as much as most people minded it. So it's like, it's beef is probably like the most overly, like, I'm overselling it. It really wasn't a beef, right? Like, let's be clear.
Yeah, for sure.
But my only semi-possible italicized critique, all of that, is the Don Callis stuff. I think went a little too much.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
That's it.
Yeah, they could have toned that back a little bit. I would have been totally fine with that.
Once they kicked him out the match, I think he should have stayed out. Or if he came back, the ref pretending he can't see him is crazy. Like he's right there. We all see him. And like that's my only little like. But these two wrestlers credit, Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay's credit. A lot of, I think there's other situations where that could have derailed the match, and it didn't. It did not. No. It did not. And like that is to be able to, overshadow the booked shenanigans, of course, but the shenanigans, nonetheless, so bad that even those who critique that part of it are like that. You can't even spend too much time critiquing it because it's still delivered. You know what I'm saying? It did still deliver and still get everything we want. And we're crazy as fans. I feel terrible for wanting a third match. Like I feel terrible.
Yo, because Kenny, you want the rubber match now.
You
want the rubber match,
and I want it.
But it's like
I'm concerned for their well-being.
Yeah, because how can you go beyond that?
It's insane.
How can you go beyond that? Like the way that they just continued, again, raising the bar, the dives, the flips, that ripcord to sling blade that he does, come on. And then, Kenny Omega, the wrestling god, Kenny Omega.
Yes.
When he took, because don't nobody kick out of the broken, what is it, the one-winged angel?
What was you about to call it? Because
the broken chicken wing or whatever the hell. Like, I didn't know what the hell that shit was.
Sergio's names for stuff is my favorite
the one-winged angel. Nobody kicks out of that. You know that.
No.
Real quick, total sidebar. I might have said this before. I don't know if I said this in the infamous group chat or here. Roman Reigns needs to adopt that finisher.
The one-winged angel.
Yes. Because could you imagine how devastating it would be from him? Because he's so big, also.
Yeah.
Like I cannot stand that.
I don't know why my eyebrows are stuck here.
You played football. I get it.
You hate the spear. You hate the spear on everybody.
He don't.
You hate everybody.
No, I don't hate it with Ricky Stark.
Okay, yeah, you do like Ricky Spear. Okay, you hate
everyone. I don't hate it with that. I don't hate it with Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker has.
You like Braun Breaker's spear? Well,
he run through. He got a Goldberg looking spear.
90s Goldberg spear. Yes.
Yes, 90s Goldberg spear. He has. Like I like a spear. If you're gonna spear somebody, I want to see you run.
Cut somebody in half. Cut somebody in half
every time. Right? Make me understand. Like feel it. Roman just be falling on dudes. Like that shit don't look like special. I'm like, and the thing about it is everybody knows it's coming.
Y'all,
so everybody bumping for him.
Mark this day, June 27th, the year of our Lord 2023, where Serg has a critique of his big brother, Roman Reigns.
Come on, man. We still not tribal chief. But come on, man.
He gonna come in their studio and get you.
I bet shit. I'll super kick his ass. He better watch out. Like everybody else out here, I got chairs and kicks for days, and chairs and kicks. He should be allergic to them.
I'm so dead.
Yo, but I'm telling you, it's definitely shit. We'll talk about that also.
I can see that. But I do want to say this though. I think one of the things that makes Kenny Omega really special is, like, I guess one of my favorite things when I watch Kenny Omega matches, especially the ones that gets here, that go to this level, is that man is so deceptively quick. And like everything he does looks really crisp and fast. And like there is a rhyme and a reason for every move that happens. And like, so being a late comer to Kenny Omega stuff, like I've heard his name. I paid attention to him. I paid attention to the things that got buzz before AEW happened, and I was excited about AEW so that I can actually watch him more often. And I've enjoyed getting to know the Kenny Omega that everyone fell in love with. You know what I mean? In like 2015 or whatever. Like I've been enjoying that. You really were.
He was wearing like a t-shirt, and I'm like, who is this corny dude with this terrible haircut and like this t-shirt? I'm like, this is your king? This is your champion? Like, are you kidding me?
And
I'm like, nah, son. And then he had that one match. You know, I'm not here for Dead Poet Society Mox. And I saw him and Mox tangled up and all that. I'm like, nah, I'm out. I don't know about none of this nonsense, right? Like, I wasn't here for it at all. But what got me was that promo that dude cut in New Japan in straight Japanese. And then I went back and I started watching some of the matches. And then the swag coming in there with weave and shit.
You saw the cleaner and you were like, oh, that's him. That's him.
That's him. And ever since then, when he comes out there, even come out there with the elite and he get the point and shit, that shit is, his moveset is insane.
Yeah.
His work rate is insane.
Man,
his athleticism is insane. He sells like crazy.
And the story
he is a storyteller.
It's so good. It's really
so good. There are only a few guys in the business that cook like Kenny Omega.
Are we gonna do it? Are we doing the list? That we know? Because we've been talking about these gentlemen. Yes.
Ferg.
Yes.
Seth Rollins.
Correct. Him. You gotta say him. But can't say Kenny.
Kenny.
Uh-huh.
The Tribal Chief.
There's one more. He wrestled on Sunday. And broke his forearm. Broke his forearm.
I forgot. Yeah. BD, Brian Daniels.
Those are my five.
Bryan, whatever his name is. That's it.
Those are
those are the ones who cook in that way.
Yeah.
Those are the ones who also have had the opportunity to cook that way. The ones who I think are close, obviously Jimmy and Jay are close.
I think Cody's right there too.
Cody, Sammy.
Yes.
Those are, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's like the next tier if we think about it. Randy Orton, I'm gonna say, is the next tier,
especially currently, right? Like, we're thinking about people who are actively on TV right now, actively wrestling, actively on our television screens. Like, those are, we just gave the top 6, 7 right there. You know what I'm saying?
And that's both organs. No disrespect to nobody.
Both orgs, like, absolutely.
Yeah. But Kenny Omega, he reminds me, and I've gotten pushback from people, and I've heard people say that, you know, because obviously the WWE has a style, right?
Yes.
If you put Seth Rollins, Ricochet is one I left out. I really believe in Ricochet in that way. I think he's that next tier as well. But and he was able to do that when he was in, you know, Lucha Underground. We saw more of that. We saw when the match he had with Ospreay was the one that everybody was insane about years ago. You know what I'm saying? That's when they didn't know nothing yet, and they're better now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
they were young
if
pups
they were outside, like, I would love to see Seth Rollins in New Japan. I would love to see it.
Or just see that style of wrestling, like see that style of match on them. It's like they try and close. It's like they try and close on. I 1000% agree. And I think sometimes I think we're gonna get. Well, I know we haven't gotten to our Money in the Bank stuff yet, but I think we're going to get. How am I going to say this? I think that they are not, I think they are wrestling fans just like we are. So there is no way Seth Rollins and Finn Balor did not see that match this past week and know that they're about to have a championship match this weekend and not go, all right, we're chasing that this weekend. We got to top that this weekend.
Let's not forget.
No way. There's no way they're not doing that.
Finn Balor put on a crazy good match with a gash as big as my forearm in his forehead. With
against that WWE Hall of Famer. He is not 80. Leave Edge alone. Leave Edge alone. You're going to put respect on Edge's name. I will not stand for it.
I love Edge. But he was moving mad rickety.
Rickety. Wow. Choice of word. Rickety. Ow.
Because but here's the thing. When you be thinking about it, and you can be like, wow, that was rickety. Think about it.
Rickety, I really hate you for giving me that. Because I can't, I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about.
Rickety.
You know exactly when you see somebody who moves, you be like, that mug look like he rickety. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Just not quite. I can't stand you. Look, obviously that was the match of the weekend. I feel like if you don't mind, I'm gonna move on. If you don't mind, Serge, I think we should talk about BD. I think we should talk about BD and Okada, Bryan Danielson and Okada.
There you go. I like that match.
I am already looking forward to the rematch.
Whenever he heals up in 2 months,
6 to 8 weeks, they said he'll be all right. Fractured his forearm, but can I say
10 minutes into the match,
and still, I mean, and that match went 30, almost 30, and like, Bryan Danielson is insane. He is not an actual human being. That man does not.
Dude is a loony.
He's Looney Tunes. Like,
he's a straight loony, but in the best way.
Yeah, and Okada matches to me. I've seen Okada wrestle a few times. Again, that's another one like Kenny Omega, who I didn't watch all the way, but when something made, when got the people talking, I went to go find it. And I think, and the one thing I learned about Okada matches is they tend to be a little slow, and they build. Yeah. But when they get to the top of that peak, it's insane. And I think obviously since BD was hurt, I don't think they ever got to the full peak yet.
No, they didn't.
And I know some people I've seen some criticism of it online or whatever, and I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that it never got here. I think we all were able to see where it could go. Yes. And I really love, and I think my sister, I don't know if she's in the chat right now, but my sister looked it up or something, that I think Okada hasn't tapped out
2015
against Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yep.
Like, what? I think that is, especially for the AEW
I be having
audience.
Notes, y'all. I be researching
the notes is in there. I love it because, especially for AEW's audience, who tend to be a little bit more nerdier. We're very, we tend to know those things. We tend to, they want to see that.
Professional wrestling fans.
Absolutely. And really into those like ebbs and flows and gray area things. They're not casuals. You're not going to meet a casual AEW fan. Not often.
There's too much obscure shit in AEW to be so much other fan.
Stuff. Yes, exactly.
You got big white dudes in lucha masks running around and shit. Like there's so much wild stuff. You got you have it feels very Attitude Era, to be honest.
It feels very that, and just it's wrestling. Indie. It's indie with money.
Yeah,
exactly. It's indie with a budget.
Yes,
indie with a budget, and we mean that in the best way, right? Like it's
in
indie
the best
with a budget
way possible. Absolutely.
And I love that. It's very it's. I watched the movie, but now let me watch the YouTube video with all the Easter eggs. It's
absolutely.
That. You know what I mean? And that's. And I love that. And I think that match, to me, Bryan Danielson and Okada was that. And I'm looking forward to when we get to see the other version, like the next phase of that. Because we got to remember, that's just the first match they've ever had together ever. So
and there was always
going to be a 2.
Yeah.
So I loved it. I loved being surprised by the tap out. I loved the stunned crowd afterwards. It was very Undertaker, Brock Lesnar beating Taker, like the way the crowd was didn't know how to react at first, but then they did, and I loved that for it. So I thought it was fun.
That's what's up.
I thought it was fun. Forbidden Door.
Forbidden Door is great. Great. Truly 5 stars. Really quick before, because I wanted to get into Money in the Bank as well. What other match in Forbidden Door really stood out to you? Which one were you like, dang, they were cooking? Because there were a few.
There was. There were a few. I think the multi-man was really good, right? The Blackpool Combat, the Blackpool Society, the BCC, them. Yep. Blackpool Combat Club, BCC versus the Elite, I think was great. I thought that was fun. I thought it never overstayed its welcome. I loved all of the stories on top of the stories on top of the stories. I'm loving whatever they're going to be doing with Mox and Eddie. Give me all of that, please. Because I think that's going to have bigger implications. Yeah, that's going to have bigger implications on BCC as a whole, in my personal opinion, and I love that. I'm a new fan of Sonata, and it's for all of the wrong reasons.
I'm a fan of Sonata. I've been a fan of Sonata for I realized who he was
Right.
when he when he won the
Jungle
first
Boy?
one the belt. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, when he
Oh,
first
for
won
the belt. Yeah.
Mhm. Because remember, I got a subscription to
You got a
New
sub.
Japan, so I be
Check you
watching
out.
New Japan stuff.
He got money. No, I'm just
No, no. In fact, with that being said, so subscribe
right now. Hit the subscribe button.
buy merch, all that
Buy
shit.
that merch right now. No, I don't know, that presence, that man. I mean, I was there live when he walked out the door.
We talked about him at the top of the show, but
just
dude
insane.
is a superstar, and he can cook. And I like him more than Okada also because he has a higher work rate.
His style is more your vibe, right?
Yeah.
And that totally makes sense.
It's the guys like Finn. It's the guys like it's Carmelo Hayes. He's another one who's like up the other next one up. Who I think he works at him. Ricochet, like guys who Will Ospreay. Truly, right now, we were talking about. Remember last year we had Dax. We were talking about Dax and Roman. Obviously, I think with those two matches alone, you damn near got to put Will up there, and Kenny as well.
Oh yeah,
you got to put the two of them right there for Wrestler of the Year. True.
Absolutely. And I want to just say, last thing is, I think that the Jungle Boy heel turn after the Sonata match was wonderful.
It was wonderful.
And my only issue is I wish Taz would have got off of commentary to check on his son.
That would have been great.
That's all I wish. It would have made sense. He was all like, he's gonna pay, and he just sat there. I'm like, your son just got. You don't want to go check on him? He's right there.
Taz old school. He probably would just want to. He'll take care of it.
That's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think it was great. But those were kind of my highlights from Forbidden Door as a whole. It was a good show.
It was. They always all the Forbidden Doors are always so much fun.
2 out of 2.
Yeah, but AEW, their pay-per-views, they do what you're supposed to do with a pay-per-view show. They make sure they get your money's worth. Everybody goes out there and really works. The matches make sense. It's awesome. All right, moving right along. We got more premium live events coming up. But before we get to the premium live event, we got to talk about. Let me turn this off. I ain't serious with this.
Oh, he's getting serious, y'all.
You know what I'm saying? We got to,
Oh wow. Okay.
We got to turn this down at least.
Uh-oh.
We are talking about the fall.
I'm not finna do this with you.
Of the greatest faction.
Oh Lord, the dramatics
in professional wrestling.
We
are talking about that. I almost wore the shirt today just for nostalgia purposes. One time for the one time. The bloodline seems as if it is no more.
We got the Civil War coming, man.
Left and right, and this weekend we have the Civil War. Jimmy, Jey Uso. We haven't really been able to talk about it.
Yeah.
We haven't. So I gotta ask you this.
Yeah.
Yo, we got to talk about how Jey, I think, had everybody. Jey went out there. We are all sitting here leaning in. Oh, I can't believe it. He about to side with Roman against his brother. Joshua, Mr. Prom King, all that stuff. Man, he turned around super king. Like, how for you has been the fall of this? And not only that, what they did this past week, jumping solo. Like, how to you has all this build been? And is this the greatest storyline of all time?
It is the greatest storyline of all time. Let's just do it. Let's just say it. Let's just
call spade a spade.
King them. You know, that is the greatest. And it's not even done. That's what I love. I feel like we say this every time we talk about the bloodline and how good the storyline is. It's not even done.
Right.
And it's the greatest storyline in professional wrestling history. Just period. It just is. It takes every aspect of all other great wrestling storylines and has packed it all into one. And they have not missed. They haven't done anything wrong. There has not been a misstep. It has been great. And I am really looking forward to the lovely Bloodline Civil War on Saturday, because Solo and Roman versus the Usos is going to be a fun match. We already know these 4 people have chemistry. This is known. It doesn't even make sense. It's probably actually unfair since they are related. It's just
because they've been doing this since they can walk.
They were babies. You know what I mean?
They've been jumping on each other since forever. They know everything the other one's going to do before they do it. If you haven't watched it yet, go back and watch at the beginning of Roman's title reign. His first title defense was against Jey Uso.
So good.
Those 2 matches that they ended up having together might have been some of the best matches in Roman's run until that last match.
Yes.
I think they were.
Absolutely.
Because you can tell they're so comfortable with one another. They trust each other, right? You see the trust. So they really go all out when they're going in there. And it's and I'm telling you, I think they're leaning or trying to figure out a way that Roman and Solo are probably gonna win.
You think so?
Man, I'm leaning it. I'm saying, but like, let's be honest. We're talking about the greatest tag team of all time. And I think that if that is supposed to be true, which we know it is, and they just passed their 13th year a couple days ago, is the longest tenured tag team in WWE history.
Yep.
People say at the live shows, pops like they only pop like that for superstars, and the Usos get that type of pop when they come out. They're they're the biggest tag team, and both of them are so good on the mic. Pause.
Unnecessary. Yo,
I've been listening to too much Dipset this week.
Put the Dipset down. Look, here's the thing. And I'm not saying it. So now you gonna put the music on me. That's crazy.
We were laughing again. We were back in the time.
No, I don't have it. I can't do anything but agree with you. Like, it's just gonna be fun. And here's the thing. With all of their matches, right? Yeah. You really don't know who's going to win. And no matter who wins, the story is going to be better for it. Like, no matter what.
Because they've made every right decision.
They've made every right decision.
Even parting ways from Sammy. Look, they got the belt. This is going to be a new thing. He's onto his own thing. Y'all, like, it works.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say this. Sammy was never more popular. And you can tell his popularity. I think people obviously still love him.
I disagree.
It's not okay. I mean, which is cool. Like I think people really love Sammy. I genuinely do.
I agree with that. People love Sammy. That's what I'm saying. I don't think his popularity has waned. Do
you think it's still going up?
I think it's still going up.
Okay.
It's just in a different direction, which is where it needed to go. Sammy did everything he was supposed to do with the Bloodline storyline, right? He got the rub from rubbing the shoulders with them, right? And let's be clear, Sami Zayn
was on the island of relevancy.
I gotta say this
when you're on the island of relevancy.
1000%. And I have to say this because I was there. You know, I don't like to pull that I was there card often, but I was there when Sammy was in NXT. And let's be clear, he was him. He was him. He was him then, and it felt like he was being groomed to be him on the main roster. He shouldn't have had to rub shoulders with the Bloodline and Roman to get as popular as he is right now.
Right.
But so he shouldn't have had to, but he did. And I think timing is always wonderful, and the fact that he was able to do that when he did, and the folks that at the head of creative were who they were able to do it this way. And now Sammy's getting the run that he was supposed to get a lot sooner. Kevin Owens, who is Mr. King of give me the ball and we'll make it work, is doing the same thing. And now he's got another layer to his gimmick now that came out of left field that we love.
He's always evolving his character.
He's just the king of give me the ball.
That knows he's on TV, like as a pro wrestler, like you know what I'm saying? Like he's the only guy who you can tell watches the show.
What an obvious gimmick that nobody's used. Like that's so great. It's so great.
It's so great. Like he's like you can tell he watches the show.
It's so great.
And
I
it's
love that.
great. I love Kevin Owens. The two of them together are great. You know he's gonna turn on them. It's perfect.
It's gonna be wonderful. And those two, the other thing about those two is that either one of them can be face or heel, and it's still going to be dope. Love that. Like they're just very talented.
Has Sammy ever been a real heel though?
Yes. Oh my god.
Be a heel though, like
conspiracy theory. Sami Zayn.
Oh yeah, he was a heel, but I'm talking about like a.
You don't acknowledge heels unless if they're comical. You don't like comedy heels. So you're like, is that heel? Yes, even though it was a comedy heel.
Okay, you're right. I thought he was heel-ish. Like he was the bad guy, but I guess it was. I hear what you're saying.
Who only wrestled faces.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. You're right.
Oh, I'm dying. Serg be like, if it's corny in any way, even if it's funny, no. No. He's not.
Look, I like, hey, look, goofy wrestling for life. I'm team goofy wrestling for life.
Please. Okay, so now we're back.
I like all the goofy wrestling, but I like a good bad guy.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think
speaking of good bad guys, and
that would be
talking about Money in the Bank.
Let's do it.
Finn Balor.
Prince.
Seth Rollins.
Yes.
This matchup is 7 years in the making.
Yes.
And the way they're leading up to is fantastic. Even Finn's match last night, Monday Night Raw against Carmelo Hayes, was a great match. Great way to elevate Carmelo Hayes as well.
Yes. Monday Night Raw debut, by the way.
Yeah, yes, it was. He just defended his belt against Corbin, and if you guys haven't seen that match, they were cooking. And yo,
shout out to Lone Wolf
best
Corbin.
Lone Wolf Corbin is back. Yo, his moveset is so insane and he's so athletic to be so big. Because when he's doing stuff, it looks like it really hurts. And he really he was throwing Carmelo around.
And Melo is like he's so athletic. He's so athletic and he's quick. All those things I said about Kenny Omega in terms of quick first step and how everything, in the drop of a dime, a new move is happening and he can kind of contort himself in ways that is just not everybody can do. Melo has all of that, and he's younger and fun. And
but let's talk about
really
let's
charismatic.
Let's stay on the match though. I want to, because we got a lot to get to, and we don't got that much time. So I want to stay on. I want to stay on these. Like Melo's great, love him, salute to him. He is him. But Ferg, Seth Rollins.
Yes.
Great match. We're talking about two of the guys that we already mentioned in that top 5 of the upper echelon wrestling guys that are currently in the game. The buildup has been great. The physicality that Ferg has been having, he looks like he's that guy. He looks like a guy who could possibly be and almost should be a champion, right? How do you see this going? How has this been for you?
Yeah, it's tough for me. I have no idea who's going to win this match. None. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, maybe Finn should win. Earlier, Serg and I was talking, and I was like, I don't think Finn's going to win. I mean, it's going to be a great match. It's going to be amazing, all of this stuff. But I think, it feels like Seth just won that belt, and the belt is still new, and it needs an established champion. I don't think everything needs an 860,000 day reign, but, I felt like it was still a little too soon. But the more I think about it, and the more y'all keep talking to me about it, I don't know if I want. I think I might want Ferg to win it. I don't know. I don't know. But I love that.
Hey, welcome to the dark side.
But that's what I want. And that's what I want in my pro wrestling. I want to not know who's going to win.
And those two are so good.
Yeah.
That the build, and again, this story specifically does have Trips' fingerprints on it, right? This is something that it feels like he would have done this in NXT, Black and Gold NXT,
Yeah.
Yo, this version of Ferg,
so dope.
He's so dope, and it's crazy because essentially this is who he was in New Japan. This is who he was when he was first in NXT. And then for some reason, Vince wanted to make him a face of some sort, right? Like, he's like this guy who wears blue tights, and he's like, you know, a nice guy. He was
grinning all the time.
Right, always smiling and whatnot. No, man. And then this version of him, he's like a little like, he's a little bit more edgy, you'd say. You know, he's a little bit more like pissed off. I don't know. I love his character, though.
I think it's the word is unstable. Like it's giving unstable, and I love that because you don't really know where and when it's gonna go. He can get comical 1 minute and then get ruthlessly deathly next, and that's what makes you want to sit on the edge of your seat and watch what's going to happen next, which is dope.
Yo, because them stomps that he was dropping to Seth were mean, and to be fair, even that match yesterday with Carmelo. He was being super physical with Melo. And
laying it in.
He was really laying it in. And that's one thing that I noticed with only certain guys in the WWE. You don't see people laying into each other like that. I feel like those guys were like really laying into each other recently. And I think that we're going to get that again. Specifically because we're talking about two wrestling nerds in Seth and Finn. You think they want these other dudes to go out there and like show them up? Look, first of all, you know, both of them like, you ain't gonna drop me on my head like that. Like, that's first and foremost. We can do everything else. You ain't, you know,
I won't like to keep my neck, please. Thanks.
But you know, neither of them are afraid of leaking in any way. No. And I am with you. I think Ferg gets it. And the only reason I'm saying that is, and believe me, if it didn't happen, I get that too, right?
Yeah.
But this is supposed to be the working man's championship, right?
Sure.
This one, if any championship has a higher turnover, you know what I'm saying? It could be this one, you know, because this is like, nah, this is the fighting championship. We're going after it. If you're fighting a lot, you're going to take some L's.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you can have a guy like that, especially, you know, but... Oh man, it's just like it's pointing in Ferg's direction. But if it did go Seth, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's again. This is what I want in my pro wrestling. I want to not know who's gonna take it, and it'd be cool. It'd be cool with whoever gets it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whoever, like, either way it goes, it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great. So let's talk about this.
Yeah.
It is Money in the Bank. We got the ladder match.
Yes.
LA Knight, Santos Escobar, Ricochet, Logan Paul. Who am I missing? Is that it? I already said LA Knight.
You did.
Regardless, that match. We have that one. Who takes it and why?
All right. I want LA Knight to win.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be Logan Paul.
Aw.
I know, right? Okay, I want it to be LA Knight, but I think it's going to be Logan Paul.
How long did it take the Miz to win a championship?
A minute. Well, he won a tag. I think he won a tag title with John Morrison. By the way, John Morrison, who is now All Elite, who's Johnny Elite, I guess now. I don't know.
Yeah, Johnny Elite.
Yeah, didn't expect that one when I was in the show. I was like, oh, hold on a minute.
Yo, Johnny Elite, Johnny Mundo, Johnny whatever.
Johnny Wrestling. Look, that's the Johnny Wrestling.
He wrestling. Yeah, he can cook.
That's Johnny Keep Your Job. That's who that is.
One of the guys who came from that show, like The Miz. But the only reason I bring it up because they do it. He and Logan, I think, are similar in that. I think he came up. So I think we can somehow look at his progress to an extent, but it probably not because he's the biggest star.
I'm very anti trying to give as much of a damn about what's going on backstage, but I think that
I know why he's not winning. I'll tell you why.
I don't want him to win, but I think I can see it. I can see it happening because you have to remember WWE, especially the older folks that sometimes override creative decisions and then we get upset about it. They think they know what's cool, and Logan Paul would be someone that they think is cool because he's viral and all of this and all of that, and they would think that would be a good way to get him on TV and more casual eyes to the program every week if he's holding the briefcase. Do I think he successfully cashes it in? No.
That would be another second person who Money in the Bank person that didn't win, right?
Say that again.
It'd be like hold up a second.
No, you're good now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay. I was saying it'd be the second Money in the Bank person that lost in a row. Would it be your second?
Oh yeah. I don't even, I forget Austin Theory cashed in and lost because he eventually won it like a couple of minutes later, or a couple months or whatever it was later. So it's like,
yeah,
I just assumed
he's had a chip ever since.
Yeah. So I kind of forget that. So you're right. You're right. I hope not. I definitely think
that's my only concern of it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get that tease, which will be fun.
Yeah,
but I think
he's
LA
going to look like he's gonna win.
I think LA Knight is the shout. I think this is the year that you make Money in the Bank again be, I know, right, sis? Again, be the star-making vehicle that it's supposed to be. I think that's what you make this. And I think that, he's been more faced than like lately, I think, like at least to the crowd. I know he's been still wrestling kind of heel, but I think you give him the briefcase, you gotta turn him face.
Nah, I don't think he wins it. I think they tease it. I think he gets close. I think he's there for a big spot. Aside from
about LA Knight?
No, I'm talking about I'm sorry, I thought you meant Logan Paul.
Oh, I was talking about LA Knight.
No. Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, in terms of Logan Paul, I mean LA Knight, he should win it. Yeah. It should be him.
Should be him. Make it the star vehicle that it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you do that, I'm so sorry. You're right. I confused that for a second.
That's all good.
But that he should win it. He's over. Who's more over right now than LA Knight? You know what I'm saying?
Cody Rhodes. That's about it.
Shit, maybe. My boy Dom. I don't know.
Right.
Guys like that. But aside from that, nah, man. He's oh man, and could you LA Knight with the briefcase? I think he gets it, and I think he cashes it in on Gunther. I think that's what happens.
I love that, and I hope. Yeah. But I want it to stretch out a bit. I don't want any same night cash-ins this year.
No.
I don't.
No.
I want everybody. I want a briefcase storyline.
Because you can see LA Knight going to all the champions and talking shit, and it'd be mad entertaining. Like, absolutely, that's the thing. Out of everybody there, because it could be Punishment Martinez, but he's gotten better on the mic.
That is Damian Priest, for those who don't know.
he's gotten better on the mic, but very few cook like LA Knight can cook on the mic.
I like Damian as a shout, though. I don't mind. That's a pick. That's a nice
my
pick.
Top two. Those are my top
nice
two.
Pick. I don't mind Damian as a pick
because I see Damian can do that. And then he has a program with Seth if Seth wins, and then or they already teased it because they already teased Finn was like, hey, if I beat Seth, you wouldn't cash it in on me.
Absolutely.
Well, he said that. You remember that? He was like, you wouldn't cash in on me, would you? He was like, of course not. So they already teased it. Yeah. So I can see if he had the brief. And do you remember how dope it was? Peak Bloodline, Sammy, Solo, all the belts. How it looked.
Yeah.
Judgment Day. You can have them with a similar vibe right now.
Absolutely.
With Rhea, Finn, Puerto Rican DJ. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have them doing.
Also, Damian Priest, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have that. I am telling you, like, those are that both of that has so much meat on the bone. Those stories.
Agreed.
But I would love that. That would be dope. We both said we both said our choices.
Yeah.
My boy Dom and Cody Rhodes. Quick thoughts.
Hilarious. Hilarious, fun, goofy wrestling for life. Gonna be that's just gonna be.
Who would have thought
fun
2 years ago?
Nobody.
First of all, who would have thought that Cody Rhodes would be in the WWE? But who would have thought he would have been WWE wrestling Dom Mysterio in a highlighted match?
Come on, second generation superstars. Let's get it.
Yo, and I'll be honest with you, Dom has gotten better each and every time. Mm-hmm. People are happy how we're hearing internally. They love how he's working with people. They love how he's learning, and they're trying to get him around to as many of the top people to help mold him. And I think that's really dope.
He's having the most successful internship we've ever seen in life. Like, it's just amazing. He's killing it. He's killing it.
And he's killing it. He's had a program with his pops now, which I'm sure meant a lot to them. Mm. And now you're getting Cody Rhodes after Brock Lesnar. Like, think about how big of a deal that is. Great with that one.
The women have a Money in the Bank ladder match. And I would like to, I'd just like to formally state that I think they do. And I am hoping the match is good. That match wins? Has Becky Lynch in it. And I know that they heavily teased that she was going to win it. I think it's Becky, Trish, Zelina, Bailey, and I'm missing one. Oh, what's her face? Zoe Starks. Trish's homegirl. I like them together. I think that's actually good. Zoe needs.
No, it's great. It's great
Zoe
for both
needs
of them.
that, I think.
Yeah.
And Zoe's a good wrestler. I think that
she is a good wrestler. She's a damn good wrestler.
I think she needs some seasoning on that character, and that's why she's with Trish, which is gonna be perfect for her. General. Quit it. So then, I really can't call this one. I can maybe Bailey. I think Bailey might take it. And Io Sky. Io Sky is definitely in this match. So that's also I take it back. We want Io Sky to win that match. Okay. Cool.
I was going to say, I can see Io Sky winning that match. I see Io winning it because you can have a program with Io versus Asuka. Ooh. I love it. I think that's you can do it. I'm going with Io Sky
also they're also teasing the dissension between Damage Control, right? With her and Bailey.
And if she had it and Bailey didn't have it, Bailey would be pissed. It makes sense. Like, I love it all.
And we're gonna get some good matches out of that.
Yeah, I think that was going to be fun. That was going to be fun because of that. And you have so many storylines to go from there. But all in all, I mean, and then obviously it's going to finish up with the Civil War Bloodline. We already talked about. It should be a really good event. It really should be. And it's in the UK.
Across the pond. I was like, we're going to be across the pond.
And they go crazy over there. Remember what it was like for Drew? Like, they're going to go nuts.
We're getting Gunther versus Matt Riddle over there too. That's about to be a sleeper, non-sleeper hit for us. That is. That could still.
They're gonna cook, and because you know what, Riddle can go, and Gunther could go, and Riddle's a real fighter, so he
can really kill you.
Yeah, he can, but he can give and take with Gunther in a way that I think a lot of other people can't. I think he's more physical. I think he's probably more physical person in general than not. I know he is than Gunther, right? So Gunther ain't never been punched in the face for them chest slaps don't do nothing to a real elbow and a real knee. Like,
I just want to say this. I'm really enjoying the evolution of Matt Riddle's character. I'm really loving, because we talked about this, I think, a while ago about how goofy Riddle's fun and all, but like, you wanted to see the I can murder you Matt come out, and we got a taste of it with his feud with Seth, and now he has to have it right with Gunther, because they hurt his ankle and all this other stuff, and it's nice. What we saw last night, I thought was a really nice little continuation of that. So it'll be fun. For sure.
I want to see the Riddle that I saw walking backstage against Goldberg when Goldberg was trying to talk. He was just like, what? Like, I wish you would, old man. Like, I will fold you in half. Like, that is the type of Riddle that I want. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the real, I mean, Riddle's already a laid back, chill dude. Like, be that. He can be that and still be terrifying.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But all in all, that match is going to be insane.
That's going to be fun.
Low key, that can steal the show.
gonna steal the. I think it could steal the weekend.
I think it's still
absolutely
the
agree.
weekend. I think it's gonna be hard because I don't know.
I know because Seth and Finn,
Civil War
and the Civil War, it's gonna be tough.
Oh man, and then Seth and Finn, yo, and coming off the heels of a great AEW show, you know they're like, yo guys, because everybody's talking about the Kenny Omega match. Everybody's talking about, especially
and they're all cool. Everybody's cool, so they got that friendly rivalry stuff. Like absolutely,
we're the best organization. We're gonna show you. We're gonna show the Little League how it's done. Watch.
Yep.
I love it. I love it all. It's gonna be a great time. We will be here next week. We're gonna be breaking it down for y'all, right? Sure, yeah. I'll be here.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Dre, anything else you want to say before any parting words?
I have nothing else to say, but thank you guys for hanging with us. We back. We missed y'all.
We back.
Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Watch some old videos of us, some new videos of us, all of the videos of us. Make sure you go to the Fight Podcast. Serg has been working all of interviews. He's been working. He's been at the events and stuff, doing real big things. So make sure you check that out. And then again, everything on the Scrap News, like always, please support us. Like, share, and subscribe. Bring it all. Listen to us while you're working. All that stuff.
There we go. And with that being said, love y'all. Serg Vicente, before we get you out here, Miss Dre Day, we're going to leave you with some wise words from none other than the man who I guess was justified on saying whatever words he wants to. He's been justified. He know where he is. So you know what? He is a philosopher. He is a prophet. He is all of the above. Joey Crack.
Yesterday's price is not today's price. Yesterday's price